Welcome back to the Double Leg. I'm one half of the show, Hey Jive Picks, the other half of the show, The Parlay. Joining me in to recap some UFC Vegas 70, which we had a main event cancellation. Unfortunate there, but overall, a good night for us and a decent night of fights. How we doing tonight?
Good, man. A lot of fun fights tonight. A lot of fun props were hit. Money was made, and overall, there was a lot of submissions tonight. I just noticed. I
Yeah.
think 5 submissions out of the 10 or 11 fights. So yeah, it was good. It was a good night of fights. Nice little teaser heading into UFC 285, where it just feels like we got a ton of fights on that card.
Yeah, a lot of good hits for us as well. Overall, I was up 2.5 units. You were up 2.2 units. So we're both in the green, feeling good, heading into the pay-per-view next week. And well, I guess we can get right into it if we have nothing else to say, but we'll start with the main event. Andre Muniz stepping in to the main event against Brendan Allen, getting the loss in the round 3, getting choked out by Brendan Allen with 35 seconds left. Close one for you. Not really close one for me. This was my biggest loss of the night, was Andre Muniz money line. Overall, he never really fought like he had in the past. He kind of just chose to stand there and strike with him in the first round, which was puzzling to me. And then second round, finally chose to try to take it to the ground. Gets reversed on the takedown. Looks terrible off his back. Goes into round 3, and coach is telling him not to take him down. So I'm like, this is not a good look. If your strong suit is grappling and your coach is telling you to strike with him. So yeah, it didn't look like a great performance by Muniz, and his first loss that wasn't by KO. So I mean, it's the first time he's ever been subbed. I wonder what that Brendan Allen by sub prop was, but that would have been juicy.
Plus 500 or 600, I believe.
Really that low,
Oh, in the third round?
or just in general.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
believe. I'm pretty sure that's what it
would
was.
figure for a guy that hasn't been subbed, it'd probably be bigger, but maybe they just figured it'd be on the ground, and the over under was like 1.5, chalk to the
Yeah.
over, but still 1.5. But yeah, overall, lost the Muniz money line, lost the Muniz by sub. We did cash the under on takedowns. He had 0. It was set at 2.5, so that was a no sweat there. And then he botched the no house advantage parlay that would have cashed if he just went for the ground game and didn't elect to strike with him. So that was an L there. But we cashed the parlay for the prize picks with the Tatiana Suarez fantasy score, which we'll go over later. But yeah, anything you got on this one? You almost cashed the Allen by decision, 35 seconds. That's tough.
35 seconds. Yep. It would have been plus 500 to end the night. That would have been great. That would have been the perfect cap to the night. But yeah, no, I had Muniz in a parlay, like a long shot parlay, and that thing was dead in the water anyways. So I was just kind of watching for fun, hoping Brendan Allen could do what he did. Really, I thought, if this fight stays on the feet, Brendan Allen can use those kicks and kind of touch him up a little bit to the point where he's stealing rounds, he's keeping it on the feet, and that's exactly what happened. And he just caught that submission there at the end. I didn't see that one coming that late in the fight, at least. I thought if the fight went on a little bit later, it was going to be Muniz kind of working on the ground a little bit on top of Allen. But Allen looked good, man. Deserves the win. Muniz should fire his coaches and fire his team and start over, because that was the worst game plan I've seen on the whole entire card. And yeah, just telling him to stay on the feet and strike with him. I mean, why? That's not your bread and butter at all. I mean, I feel like Allen had a striking advantage. He was a lot faster than Muniz. His kicks were better. Muniz caught him with a couple of shots, but nothing that's going to put the lights out and win you the fight. I mean, you need to get in close, grapple a little bit, try to get in the clinch and work for the takedown or work for some kind of submission. He just never did. So yeah, hats off to Brendan Allen. It's a good win for him.
Yeah, I think it was a big mistake to stand and strike with him in round 1. That's usually when you're most dangerous with the grappling. You're not sweaty or anything, and can grab stuff pretty easily. So it's just a weird game plan.
Yep.
But we'll move on to the co-main event here: Sakai and Dante Mays. Once again, we got a greasy heavyweight fight, which was all but entertaining. I will say that. Sakai gets it done by decision 30-27 on all the judges' scorecards. So I cashed my ticket for Sakai by decision at plus 275. So I felt good about that one. But he definitely should have finished that at some point. I mean, Dante Alves, I said after the Hamdi Abdul Wahab fight that I would never put my hard-earned money on that guy ever again. And I couldn't do it in this one, even though Sakai was coming off 4 straight knockout losses. He looked I don't want to say he looked good as a dog, but it was like a weird heavyweight fight where the dog might be the play. Couldn't get to it. I thought Sakai would get the win and probably by decision. Dante Alves hasn't been KO'd. He's only been KO'd once in his career, so Sakai gets it done, and I'm happy. But overall, I just hate watching these fights. Like
Yeah.
they're fights, but I'm just so done with these low-level heavyweight fights getting juiced up to the top of the cards.
Yeah. I mean, I had Sakai round 1 or round 2 KO just because I thought he'd come out and like with something to prove. You've been knocked out 4 times in your last 4 fights. You're on the verge of getting cut. And then he puts on the performance he did tonight. It's frustrating because that doesn't really, your stock doesn't really rise with that kind of performance either. You went in, you touched him up a little bit, and every time you had him hurt, I don't want to say wobbled. I think Dontel was probably just gassed, but every time you hit him hard, you just clinched and laid on him, let him recover, and then you get him in you've got your arm locked up in a guillotine, and you basically bent him over and kneed him in the head 15 times. And if you would have kept just doing that for the next minute, you probably get TKO. Because I mean, those shots were getting through, even if they were landing on the wrist and on the hand. Like
Yeah.
he's feeling those. A couple of them are getting through flush. You throw 25, 30 more. Um, you could in the fight right there, and we would have cashed another big ticket. But I don't know. Maybe you think differently, but compared to like striking and the torque and like movements with your torso and everything when you're throwing strikes compared to having a guy bent over and just throwing knees, I feel like the knees are not draining you of your energy compared to like combinations you're throwing and kicks. I mean, I feel like he had the gas tank to just hammer away with those knees and end the fight. He just didn't. He didn't chase a single finish tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he has him in a very dominant position too. I mean, he had him with the headlock,
Yeah,
basically holding him there, and all he's got to do is hold him there. I mean, he could take a break, get his wind back, and then just try to unleash, but he just didn't. Yeah, it's just a weird spot there, but
yeah.
won't give that fight any more of our breath. Tatiana Suarez making her comeback fight here against Martina De La Rosa, getting it done in the second round. Real slick guillotine choke. A good fight for me to cash some tickets.
Oh yeah.
We had Tatiana Suarez inside the distance, plus 135, I believe it was. Suarez by sub plus 225, I think it was. And then we had the over in the fantasy score. So I thought that line was off. The fantasy score is off at like 92.5. If she gets a first round finish, that's 100 points automatically. If she gets a second round finish, that's 75, which she did. So we got the 75 points there. You get 6 points for takedown. She got 2 of them. So that's 87. And then a submission attempt is like 5 or something like that. I don't know. We got like 98. We just got over it. But overall, a good performance for her. She didn't really look like she was any different, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, she was up a weight class, so Montana De La Rosa is a bigger girl.
Yeah.
Even for flyweight, she's pretty tall, lengthy girl, so she was able to not get ragdolled in there. But Suarez looked dominant. She looks like she's going to be a big problem moving forward for any weight class that she wants to go into. Sounds like she wants to go in straw weight, and I would imagine they match her up with someone within the top, at least the top 10, because she's definitely capable there. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what she does. I really thought she would come out here with something to prove and a lot of energy coming back after 4 years off, and she did. She proved me right, and I'm thankful for that, Tatiana. How about you?
Yeah, I had her by decision for a half a unit just because I thought that De La Rosa would defend the submissions a little better. But I sent this to you. She almost cashed me a big parlay that was 33 to 1 odds. Um, I had her by submission in the second round. Bang, that was plus 1,000. That hit. Then I had Augusto Sakai by TKO or KO, and he couldn't do it. That's what made me so mad about that fight. It would have been 33 to 1 or plus 3,300 odds. So that was a fun one to watch, that fight, and see her get the submission in the second round. I don't want to say she had ring rust, but I think it took her a little bit longer to kind of, you know, get the feel for it in there in an actual fight again. That's why I took her the second round. I thought first round she's going to be grappling, maybe doesn't get all the takedowns she wants, but by the second round she's going to be a little more comfortable. The nerves are gone. She's going to do her thing, and she did. So yeah, that was a fun one to watch for sure. She's a beast for sure.
Yeah, you sent me that. It wasn't a part of the premium plays or anything, but I put a little sprinkle on Suarez round 2 submission, cashed
Oh
that
yeah.
plus 900. So
Yes.
that was a sneaky little play there,
Yeah.
given out to the two men on the podcast here.
Yeah.
Mike Malott and Johan Lainesse. Mike Malott getting the submission win in round 1. Looked really good in it. A familiar face there for him against Lainesse. They used to train together, and it looked like he knew exactly where he wanted to take it. He kind of danced around the outside a little bit, kicking, throwing some punches here and there, moved his way to get the takedown with the trip, and then gets on top, in him out, gets the arm triangle, and Johan Lainesse taps out.
Yep.
And for us, I had the inside the distance at minus 105, cash that, and the Mike Malott by sub, cash that as well. So I was feeling good about myself there. That kind of kicked us off the main card just how we wanted to, in a great way. So I was really happy with that. Mike Malott could be something in the welterweight division.
Yeah, for sure.
They're, you know, Canada kind of needs someone to spearhead the force there to get someone or get the UFC back in Canada. They don't really have like a headliner. Not saying Mike Malott would be at this point, but maybe down the road or something. And sounds like they're gonna want to get back there sometime this year. So that'd be pretty fun to look forward to.
For sure. Yep. No, this is my biggest fight of the night where we cashed. Mike Malott money line for 1.5 units. I was just so confident in him because of Johan's last few performances. Yeah, he got the split decision win in his last one, but his UFC debut against Gabe Green, he gassed quick. So yeah, Mike Malott. I had him by submission as well, plus 280. So we get 1.5 units on the money line, and then we get another 0.75 ish. I'll have to look and see exactly what it was at plus 280 because we just sprinkled on it. But that was a great fight. Overall, over 2 units back in that one, so that was good.
Yeah, it was fun to watch too. Just to
Yeah.
once he got him to the ground, I'm like, all right, he's got it. He's got him right
Yep.
where I want him. So another fight that was fun to watch: Trevor Peek and Eric Gonzalez getting it done with the second left. Man, this kid is something to watch. I swear he had him knocked out like 3 times in this fight. Eric Gonzalez, I'm not gonna like shit on him or anything, but it didn't really look like he ever had much of a chance. Like he got him to the
Yeah.
ground, but Trevor Peek was just had no respect at all on the feet, just throw
Yep.
whatever he could at him. And even on the ground, I mean, he had 4 takedowns. So I mean, Trevor Peek showed a lot of holes in his game. Let's just say that.
Oh
He
yeah.
showed a ton of holes. But at the end of the day, he won the fight. And that's all that matters right now. 2 knockdowns, 51 significant strikes for him in one round. Went after him like he always does, throwing some weird hammer fists, anything that he could to get him out of there. Finally does. Cashed the Trevor Peek by KO for even money in that fight in the under 2.5. So happy about that. And excited to see who they match him up with next. I think this was probably like the best matchup they could give him as like a debuting fight. So what do you think?
Yeah, no, he's going to be a guy that people tune in to watch because of that performance, and he's going to perform like that every time he goes out there. He's going to he's going to look for the first round finish. He's tough. He's I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell how his cardio is. I mean, if you're able to defend that many takedowns and stand back up that many times after getting taken down, and then go out there and find a big knockout like that, your cardio must be at least pretty decent. I'm gonna say his cardio is really good. He just empties the tank. Is chasing that finish.
Yeah.
And he's talked about how, when he got into fighting, he did it by fighting in the parking lots back where he's from, old country boy style, just go out there and start swinging. And dude, that's exactly how he fights. I mean, that looked like a brawl on a Saturday night outside the bar somewhere. That's exactly what it looked like. I mean, that standing hammer fist was, something straight out of a street fight. But he hits hard, man, and he's pretty accurate for the most part. He loads up a little bit, but he does, he will touch you up at some point, and when he finds that shot, he usually hurts guys. So he's going to be a lot of fun watching going forward. I had him by KO plus 115 in this fight, so that was a good hit as well.
How about that little Kimura sweep he used to escape too?
Yeah, dude, that was slick. You heard I forget which announcer it was that said, because they were talking about the street fighting, and he got the Kimura, and he's like, "You don't do that, or you don't learn that in street fighting." Or something. I think it was Bisping.
Yeah, and then Cruz was like, "Well, you might nowadays with how many people are training BJJ and everything."
Yeah,
that was funny. This one was disappointing for us. Kind of just a boring fight to watch, honestly. I'm surprised that she survived though, because she was in some tough positions. Fernandes losing to Jasudavicius was it 11 minutes of control time for Jasudavicius, and Fernandes looked like she had nothing on the ground. But overall, I mean, she outstruck her 26 strikes to 24 significant strikes. So she was landing at will on the feet, and if it was on the feet, I would imagine she gets the win. But this is mixed martial arts, and you got to have all the arts to mix in. And Jasudavicius implored her strength and her ground game against Fernandes, getting her to the ground. And once she was on the ground, she could never get back up, man. She was just, she had her in like the crucifix, damn near got stopped, was landing elbows and everything, somehow survives. But yeah, just overall, a dominant performance for Jasudavicius. And she got her where she wanted her. And for Fernandes, she's going to have to clear that up if she wants to do anything in this division.
Yeah, for sure.
And
no, I liked Gabby here because of how hard she hits. I mean, dude, she can crack, and she was cracking Jasmine too.
Yeah,
like I was telling you earlier, I think 95% of the other women at this level in the UFC get dropped by those shots. I mean, the head kicks, the straight lefts, they were all nasty. Yeah, man, Gabby's just got to work on that ground game. I thought she was strong enough to where she'd be able to keep it on the feet more times than she did. I thought Jasmine was really going to have to work to get it to the ground, and I was wrong there. And I was really banking on that power just being too much for Jasmine. And props to Jasmine for hanging in there and taking those shots, because most girls in that division couldn't.
Yeah, she wasn't like circling out of the way. She was just straight back, allowing herself to get pushed up against the cage.
Yep.
And when Jasmine would shoot for the double legs, she wouldn't sprawl at all. She just like kind of reach down and like try to keep her away with her arms. Like, you gotta throw your legs back. That's what she's going for, honey.
I mean, you could tell like she made so many mistakes too in the clinch. Like, she wasn't digging underhooks.
No.
She'd almost have the underhook in, and then she'd pull it out and start punching her with these short shots. So yeah, I mean, it's just inexperience. I think if she can put together some kind of takedown defense or ground game, she's going to be dangerous, because she can. I mean, if that fight would have taken place on the feet for all 3 rounds, I think she wins 30-27, if not by knockout.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you could tell from the first couple shots that she landed, Jasudavicius is like, all right, I need to do something.
Yeah, because Gabby's fast too, man. She's quick.
Yeah, she's a good athlete. Jordan Leavitt getting the dub.
Yes.
And a little bit of a half twerk. I'm really looking forward to that, but didn't really get it to the full extent. The KO too. Look at that, man. I mean, his first ever KO. And it was so the guy's such a weirdo, man. Yeah. Comes out to the Grind With Me song. It was like dancing. It was great. I loved it. And then he gets the fight starts. He gets hit a couple times. I'm like, oh God, like get a takedown, man. He goes for a takedown, doesn't get it. and then gets him on the clinch, lands a couple knees, and gets the knockout.
Yep.
I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I've never seen a Jordan Leavitt with any kind of violence other than that. I mean, he does have the slam victory, but it was not like a punch at all. I mean, he just literally landed on the guy. And he was excited because he was like, I've never done that. I've never knocked someone off. Like, God, this guy's so fucking funny.
He is funny. I like Jordan Leavitt.
Yeah, no, I love him
I
too.
think he's cool.
He's a weirdo, but I like it. I like it. It's funny. And cash the money line ticket for a unit. That was honestly probably one of the most confident plays of the week. I'm like, how is this guy? I got him at plus money. It was like plus 110. I think he moved to like minus 110, minus 120 when the fight started. I was like, this guy should be favored. I mean, he's got so much more experience. And he's beaten, pretty not like decent caliber guys in the UFC, but like guys that probably have a spot in the UFC. Victor Martinez making his debut. He's lost to guys on the regional scene. He's a boxer. Jordan Leavitt's a wrestler. I mean, he should be able to do something here. So, yeah. It was a good performance by Leavitt, and I'm happy to see him get a win.
Yeah, no, the walkout was phenomenal. I mean, everything, dude. I love listening to his interviews. Like, he's not like a shit talker. Like, most people tune in to listen to the shit talk, but when he's explaining that, he's about to get a knockout and what was going through his mind, and he's, all, oh my God, I'm gonna get a knockout, and he's just a funny dude to listen to. And the knees were nasty. I give him props for those, man. Those were landing flush and hard, and dude, he's not a guy that's gonna go make a title run by any means, but he's a guy that is gonna upset some guys, I think, or has the ability to upset some guys if you're not careful with him, because he's like got a sneaky good wrestling. Like, he's not explosive. He's not strong. I mean, he is strong, but he's not like overpowering. He's just like, I don't know, man. He's just relentless and he's good. And the submissions are good too. And now he can knock you out. So beware. Everybody's on notice. Jordan Leavitt's coming for everybody's head.
Oh, it's hard.
It was a good one.
Serious. Like, if he's walking out to that thing and he walks in there, like, he's gonna like twerk after if he wins. Like, it's hard to take him serious. Like, if I'm fighting him, like, even when he's in the ring or in the octagon with you and he's fighting you, like, he doesn't. It's hard to take him serious. He doesn't look like he's like really capable of violence.
Yeah.
Funny fucking dude, man. Funny.
Yeah, he is.
Osbourne getting the split decision win against Charles Johnson. That nasty nut shot in was it round 1?
Yeah, I believe it was round 1. Was it
round 2?
Was it?
Yeah, it was the start of round 2. Because there was only like a minute in, and then they took a 5-minute break. And then they finished the round. So yeah, it was a close fight for like all 3 rounds. Honestly, I thought Ode won the first, Charles won the second, and then Ode won the third. But all of them are pretty close rounds. I would say Ode winning the first round is pretty easily agreeable for that. Next 2 rounds a little bit greasier. But Charles looked like he was just having trouble getting started as far as dealing with Ode's speed and trying to counter him. And then time kind of ticked away, and he was like, oh shit, I'm probably losing this round. And he tried to get it back. I don't think he did. And then second round, I thought he won it. He won it. And it looked pretty good in that round. And then third round, both guys are pretty gassed. Yeah, and it was just like, who can land the more amount of damage within the next 5 minutes.
Right.
And I thought Ode did. So not a big play on Charles Johnson. I had him in a parlay. And he caked that one, but it wasn't for anything too big. So not a big loss for me. But overall, I thought it was an exciting fight.
No, me too. I lost the unit on it, and I think Charles Johnson wins if he just gets the volume going a little bit, honestly. I mean, he just kind of lacked, I don't know, headshots. I mean, he did a lot of great body work, leg kicks. His kicks were good, but man, just the headshots weren't there. And I don't know. The wrestling looked decent at times too. He got in on good shots, but overall, I do think Ode won the fight. Any way you look at it. It was close though, but yeah, some good striking in that fight too. Lost the unit, but we made it up for it. It's all good.
All right, and then the play of the week, Joe Solecki money line. I'm just fucking you. Just like you get it done in round 2. Carl Deaton. Carl Deaton survives to round 2. Lands a total of 1 significant strike in the fight. Joe Solecki lands a whopping 2 significant strikes in a damn near 10-minute fight. So 3 significant strikes landed total. 8 minutes and 51 seconds of control time for Solecki. Almost gets it done in the first, having the back for all that time. A little scared for our boy Joey there going into round 2. Maybe burned out his legs. Doesn't happen. Gets the sub at the end of round 2. And puts him out cold. Carl Deaton. And not really tapping to anything. Gotta love that. I didn't have any plays on it, but yeah, it was not the play of the week. That was a joke. So yeah. Well, but you had a Solecki by sub, right?
Yeah, no. Well, I had him in a parlay. But I actually hit that parlay. I had Solecki, Tatiana Suarez, and Trevor Peek. It was kind of my safety net parlay of the week. That thing hit for 0.85 units, 0.8 units. But no, he's referencing. So there's a guy on TikTok, and I posted a parlay tonight, and it missed by 1 leg. And he commented. He said, "You lost," all capital letters. Follow, and he tagged himself. Follow for the real UFC plays. And so I went to his account, and his play of the day was Joe Solecki money line minus 560. Like, get out of here, man! Come on. So yeah, that's what he's referencing.
Oh man. If you ever get in the premium or buy the premium plays, I promise you there will never be a minus 560.
Never.
There will never be. We'll move on from that fight though. That was kind of not really a snoozer, but just not really exciting. This one probably should have been higher up on the card, honestly. Pretty decent fight here. Rafael Alves and Nurullo Aliev. I had Alves by sub and on the money line for a little sprink and bink. Almost got him on the sub. He had him like twice. It was like in round 2, he had the guillotine, almost had it. And then in round 3, I thought for sure he had it. Like that was so deep.
It was deep.
So deep. And he was squeezing. I'm pretty sure he thought he had it too. But we forgot that it was mini Khabib or Khabib 2.0, and he ain't tapping for shit and finds his way out of it. He kind of pulled the not necessarily the bulk, but like goes onto his back, so he's in a mounted guillotine and then pushes off on the hips and gets him away. So I mean, I guess that's how you get out of it. Yeah. Looked pretty like he knew what he was doing, didn't really panic or anything. But Alves lands up in mount and sits there for a little bit. And then Aliev reverses the position and takes the 3rd round. There's that weird finger bite in the 1st round. I was like, this is going to be a weird fight. I wonder how Aliev comes back after this, if he's making his debut and he gets a point taken in the 1st round. Maybe a little sportsman error or sportsman play by Alves to say that he bit his finger so he could get out from the bottom there. It's like he's like fishing for something, to get his mouth out, and then I don't know, maybe he could have done something. Let's just say that. You don't want to be on the bottom against Aliev, and you could do whatever you want to get out of there, and it worked, whether he bit him or not, and gets the point taken, but it didn't really matter, and Aliev wins. I'm kind of like wondering how one judge scored it 28-28. Like, what round did Alves win? Like,
that's what I'm thinking.
Any rounds? I don't.
It's dicey.
Maybe
unless he had him. Unless he gave him I don't know. Would he give him the 1st round?
I know, no way.
Yeah, you wouldn't think.
I would say he could have maybe gave him the 3rd. I don't know.
Yeah, just for having him, I guess maybe the submission attempts.
I tried a lot of weight. I tried to look it up on MMA decisions, but it wasn't loading. But yeah, I thought he won all 3, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know if Aliev bit him. You wouldn't think a dude would bite another dude's hand. I think what could have happened is, he's working with his hands over his mouth, and Aliev's mouth's open, and he scrapes it on his teeth, maybe, or something. Yeah. I mean, because you look at the video evidence, it didn't look like he went in to bite him or anything. And I mean, Mark Smith came in and said, "There's a mark there. We're taking a point." I mean, maybe you have to take a point there, but with no video evidence. Mark Smith said, I didn't see it, but there's a mark on his hand where it, happened. I don't know. Maybe you have to take a point. Didn't end up mattering at all. But yeah, 28-28. That's weird. That's interesting.
Yeah, I was a little puzzled.
Aliev or Alves, though, that I was surprised the UFC gave him to Alves because Alves is a dangerous fighter, man. And you're giving this dude that has, he's being called Mini Habib. There's a lot of marketability and a lot of people from, his region of the world that's going to want to, back this dude. And you gave him a guy that could have beat him tonight, and a guy that's dangerous. So that was a good test too. I mean, it shows that he's ready for this level, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was clear Alves was looking for that guillotine the whole fight. Like,
yeah.
He literally rocked him with the knee too. He probably just could have kept like throwing punches, jumps on the guillotine. Which I mean, that's his move, so I can't really fault him for doing that. But at the same time, like you got him. He wasn't like rocked, but definitely stunned him with that knee.
Yeah. Yep.
Could have just at least tried to keep punching instead of going for that guillotine. But it's hindsight.
Yeah.
Not gonna blame him for that. But that's the end of the card. We only ended up with 10 fights after having 13 scheduled. Krylov and Spann getting canceled. That's disappointing. It sounds like they're gonna try to reschedule that a couple weeks down the road. Krylov having the stomach virus or something that he's dealing with. So obviously you can't really throw him on the next week's card because they cut weight and everything.
But that's 285. It's already got 14 fights on it.
Yeah, that's definitely a fight that they're gonna have to reschedule. I think. I mean, you kind of have to make that fight within.
Yeah. I mean, it's so important in that division right now to get all those top, ranked guys fighting because it's such a wide open division in some aspects. So yeah, they've got to fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that one too. It was a good main event.
Yeah, because I think you're gonna find out like how legit Ryan Spann actually is fighting a guy like Krylov. Like I'm not saying he's not legit or anything. He's obviously dangerous, but you're gonna see him at the higher level. You're gonna see. I mean, I don't know. He's got to. This is gonna be his like fork in the road fight. Are you gonna go and just stay kind of in that top 10, top 15 area? Or are you gonna break through and start making a run at the title? I mean, he's got the size and strength and knockout ability and submissions. It's just the skills translate to the top of the division. I think we're going to find out a little bit more tonight, and we didn't get the chance.
Maybe they'll reschedule him for the fight night in San Antonio. That would be pretty sick.
That'd be sweet.
That'd be pretty sweet.
You'd like that.
I'd love that. But that's it for the UFC Vegas 70 recap, headlined by Andre Muniz and Brendan Allen. Didn't think I'd ever say that, but here I am. Next week, we'll be breaking down some UFC 285. John Jones versus Cyril Gane for the heavyweight championship, undisputed, which is currently vacant. But overall, for the premium members, if you tailed both of us, you'd be up 4.7 units. And those are real units, in case you're ever wondering. They are real units. So get on that. The link will be in the description to join that. Less than $1 a day, and we're going to be hammering this UFC 285 card, and we're going to be looking to stay in the green as well.
And I will say one thing, just for a little disclaimer. Not everybody out there knows what units are. I've had a lot of people in the group ask me like what I mean by units. So up 4.7 units means if you're a $100 a bet better tonight, you'd be up $470. A unit is 1% of your bankroll. So, just off the metrics, 1 unit, $100, you'd be up $470. Just kind of if anybody out there is ever wondering what we're talking about when we call it units.
Yeah, if you're wondering why we do that, it's the best way to track if you're like profitable, because you could go 11-1 and still lose money. It doesn't really come down to how many plays you win. It comes down to like how profitable you are. So that's why we use the unit system. Most people use the unit system. If you're not using the unit system, or if you see anyone that's not using unit system, then you're probably should look a different place. But yeah, that's how we do it, and it's the easiest way to replicate, to someone else. So
yeah, it's how you stay disciplined too. I mean, going out there and just blindly throwing a bunch of money on this play, that play, and when you go by 1% of your bankroll or like 1 unit for each bet, You can have a bad night and not blow your account, and you're not going to be, in the grand scheme of things or in the long run, it's just a drop in the bucket. You're not losing your ass too. So holds us accountable, keeps us disciplined. In the long run, it makes us money. So we stick with it.
Right. And if you're throwing like a plus 500 play out there, you can see that it's only for like a quarter of a unit or like a tenth of a unit. So it's like, all right, obviously you're not expecting to win this, but you think it's worth the sprinkle on it. So
Yeah.
that's another way to look at it as far as, confidence level in a pick. I know we get that question a lot. How confident are you in a pick? That's how we do it. So yeah, keep an eye on that. Link will be in the description to get all that. And then we'll be coming out with the preview video very soon for you guys to break down the fights. At the double leg on all the social medias. If you're watching here on YouTube, drop a subscription down below to support the channel. We bring you the recaps, the previews, and all the individual fight videos for you guys. So it'd be much appreciated if you could drop a subscription to support the channel. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and drop a comment if you got any plays going forward, or if you cashed any big plays this past weekend. At Hey Jive Picks on the social medias. For me, where can they find you?
TikTok, The Parlay. YouTube and Twitter, The Parlay MMA. And on Instagram, The Parlay_media.
All right, we'll see you in the next video breaking down UFC 285. Till then, double leg.